start with the pledge of allegiance. To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. First order of business will be to adopt the meetings from both the regular meeting on July 10th and the public hearing and special meeting which was held on July 24th. Everybody's received the minutes. We also have received a letter requesting a change to the July 10th meeting. We will look at them and make the changes at a later date if needed. We will check with them. Can I get a resolution to accept the minutes for both meetings?
Were you accepting with possible changes?
Yes.
I'll make that motion with possible change.
I'll second it. All in favor? I know we've got a lot of people here to discuss this ATV law again. I will remind everyone, we had a public hearing on July 10th. There will be no further discussion on the public hearing. When we reach the point, the board will make a decision whether they're going to vote on it or not. But at this point, we are not accepting any additional comments. And any comments that were received, we have all recorded and saved and reviewed. But we will not be making any more comments during the public comment period. I'll accept comments from other things, but no longer comments for the ATV law. That's been really discussed and covered in the 2-hour session that we had at the last meeting. But I don't see any reason to have to cover it again. Okay, we've had a couple of requests to speak. Mike Harrington, who actually gave us a written report, so he will not be here tonight. I believe we've all had a chance to review that. Have Renate Renee.
Yes.
Did I kill it or didn't I?
No, that's what.
Okay. To speak on the Roxbury Library funding,
You want me to come up there and stand and talk?
wherever you're comfortable.
Up here. Anybody can't hear me, they'll just tell me.
Just speak up so our little microphone can catch you over there.
Where's the microphone?
Right behind you over here.
Oh, okay, I'll talk. Why don't I stand closer to that? So they get it. Just a little background. I'm Renate Rennie. I'm a recent permanent resident to Denver, Roxbury Township. But I've had my house here for 13 years and I retired and moved up here full time. And then I started volunteering, looking for things to do because as a retiree, I had a lot of time. Now I don't. But anyway, I volunteered at the thrift store at the Roxbury Library. And then I volunteered, they asked me to join the board and I was quickly appointed treasurer. So I'm here to talk about the need for extra funding for the Roxbury Library. I sent to the board, to the council, a copy of the profit and loss statement for the Roxbury Library from 2022, which is the last year for which we have full figures. And you will note that at the end of that statement, we were over $3,000 in the red. Luckily, a very generous board member donated the extra money, so we didn't have to close the library for extra weeks. And we were able to operate until we got new funding for the 2023 year. The fixed costs of the library are about $40,000. We generate, according to our last few years, about $53,000 in income. And we have a couple of expenses that we have to pay, like the Tri-County Library Loan System. And that leaves us only about a couple of $1,000s for all the other expenses if we have to buy paper towels or new staplers or books. So we can't buy that many books. So I'm asking the town council to increase their annual payment, which they now make in the amount of $17,500, very generous. And you've done that since 2019. But that's a few years ago and our expenses have risen. We're trying to get back to pre-pandemic activities. So we're having a lot more informational meetings for the town. We have a lot of people coming in to learn about what's going on around the community. We have new residents coming into Roxbury. And so we would love for the council to consider increasing that amount to $30,000. That would cover most of our salaries and free up a lot of money for all the things that need to be done. We have, the first thing I noticed when I came into the Roxbury Library is that it was not ADA compliant. And I noticed this because one of my friend's children was in a motorized wheelchair and couldn't get in. I mean, we had to basically carry the wheelchair in. It has two doors that aren't wide enough. Even me with my cane in the winter, if you're holding one door open with your butt and the other door slams shut and you're carrying books, and if you have a kid in a stroller, it's all very difficult. So we have submitted a grant, and we're hoping to get a funding in the amount of $50,000 from the Mark Project and another foundation to make the entrance and the emergency exits ADA compliant. So there'll be building ramps, nothing fancy, but just so that the door will open with a touch on one of these panels, and that you will have wider access, but it's all very expensive. And who knows what we'll find once we start opening walls and things like that. So we would love to use the extra money that's freed up with a larger contribution by the town to support that. We also have a desperate need for a gutter repair and replacement because the gutters are leaking, the trims around the outside windows are rotting. The tables in the library cannot be moved because if you lift them up, the legs fall off. We have very old computers that were generously donated, but they don't accept any of the new programming, so we can't use a lot of the new informational programs that are coming out. We don't have a color copier, which we need sometimes. As Diane noted, she made copies for me for some of the color stuff. And we have a bathroom where the toilet is literally about 12 inches off the ground. So if we're going to be ADA compliant, anybody who comes in who can't get up and down by themselves needs a higher toilet and some grab bars. And so we need that. Additionally, we have been working with just volunteer staff on bookkeeping, but we need to hire a professional bookkeeper, a professional accountant, at least for the first year, to prepare legitimate taxes and returns so everybody knows what's going on with this. So anyway, I really would love for the council to consider increasing their allotment for the library. I know it's difficult. I used to sit on a lot of boards and I was the head of a major foundation in Manhattan. And you have a lot of requests coming in, you have to make decisions. But Roxbury is becoming a destination town. We have a lot of new residents. The library is a focal point for the town. And I think it would be worthwhile investing a little money in the library going forward. Any questions? I would love for you to, I would love to answer. One point I'd like to make is the library works with the thrift store. We have a group of really dedicated volunteers, and the thrift store serves the community as well. I don't know if you know this, but the poverty level of 13% of the population in Roxbury is living under the poverty level. And I know, just going to the thrift store, that you can buy 3 outfits and furnish your whole kitchen for like $8 because we are a very inexpensive thrift store. We charge by the bag, we don't charge by the piece, and we have a lot of great donations coming in, and the volunteers sort it out. And nothing is put on the shelves that I wouldn't personally buy. So it's not junk. It's really great clothing, great dishes, great appliances, small appliances, and some limited furniture. So it serves the community beyond just the library as well. Anyway, if you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer them. And that's it. Thank you for the time. I appreciate it.
I just have a question. So the $50,000, that's for just the improvements? Would that be the bathroom too? Could that be included in the bathroom?
No, it's not.
So it's in New York Main Street for the accessible doorways and things like that. And that's your door.
Okay, so is that the one that we're applying for, not for the?
This is, we have New York Main Street running in place. And we're going to the O'Connor Foundation on the 1st of September for the 25% share that's required to match Main Street.
What, isn't there another one for Mark that with the,
The access
housing
to
and
home
that
is
was for,
for individually owned by people with accessibility. But I can look, I can ask, but it's all based on.
I understand, and I know foundations love matching, and I understand that, so there'll be, but I know when they start tearing down the walls and putting in the new stuff, maybe they'll be needing new insulation that's not covered in that proposal, or a window will crack or something, so we need a little extra money that way too. But anyway,
so when you're asking for 30,000, is it every year you want that much?
yes, going forward. Because we would like to expand our services, get more information out to the community, hold meetings, buy some books, buy new tables that don't have legs that fall off when you move them. And I mean, if we find out we get a lot of donations from the new residents, then maybe we can decrease the amount we ask for. By the way, Stanford, which has less people living in the town, about 200 people, a population of 200 people less than we have, gets a $45,000 donation from tax levy, not from, they have an endowment too. I mean, they have a $2 million endowment, and they spend almost $90,000 just on salaries. But they actually get $45,000 from the town to add to their income for the library. And we're an association and they're an association. The Fairview Library in Margaretville is a public library, and they also get tax income. But we don't have an endowment, which is the next thing I'll work on. We'd love to have an endowment so we could produce some income every year and be assured of that.
Well, I think the best way to put it, we're just about to start our budget period.
That's why I wanted to get on the agenda and have you consider it. Yeah, thank you.
We'll certainly consider it as part of the budget process.
Okay.
Okay, I'm gonna jump around a little bit tonight, just because a couple things we had to go over. Bill, did you have anything to highlight? You wanna go first?
Yeah, I'll just make it quick. We finished the lawn stone paving for the season. Building up the shoulders on the roads that we paved. We built the base for the radar sign today on County Route 41, so we will install the sign itself early next week. Right now, we're just starting to clean ditches for the roads that are on the schedule for oil and stone next year. Spend some more time on the removing the dead trees on all the town roads. Other than that, that's it.
You have the other two signs in the works.
Yes, yes. So I wasn't sure if you wanted that. The agreement with Delaware County on the solar removal, but any questions on that?
We have both of those, and we have them in our resolutions. Unless anybody has any questions, we'll do that. You guys will do that.
There's no different than we've done before, right?
It's actually less, 2 less county roads this year that we're taking care of in order to adding standing material to County Route 41 where we just plowed it in the past.
You said Middletown, I think over the correct?
No, actually they're dropping theirs because they don't have enough manpower. John Byrock and I from Middletown went to talk to the county, because it's been kind of in my eyes, a waste of taxpayers' money the way it's been going on. If we plow and they sand, but it's 2 or 3 hours after we plow that they sand.
So the county is gonna do the other 2 roads themselves then?
Yeah, so they're gonna plow and sand the other 2 that we did take care of, and we're gonna plow and sand County Route 41.
Henry, I know you're here, and Chris, let's do the water and sewer. And get out of here. Why don't you go over, Chris?
Want me to start?
Sure.
Okay, we just brought well 3 online today, which is a big development.
5 years.
Yeah, 5 years. And we also completed the hydrant replacement project. There's a couple of pieces still have to be done for that. as far as Roxbury, Denver sewer, I supporting this team this afternoon, but we installed a brand new VFD which controls the motors, one of the microfilters, and because it was not the original part, it didn't fit in the cabinet, so they had to mount it on the side. And when it ran overnight, it burst that schedule 80. That then in turn wanted VFD, so we're gonna wait like 3 weeks before we decide to start that back up and see if it's not working. I know Henry has some things about the forced main easement.
Yes, we've been looking at, I can listen to that. Henry Lamont, who's our president of Lamont. The services we manages our water. They are. We're working on doing some changes or some clearing.
But first, I don't remember.
From what used to be Becker. Way down behind the pressure reducing valve water main coming from Roxbury. And the sewage force main goes all the way to the main wastewater plant. And there's a section where the pipeline crossed 2 gullies at a steep side hill. And I guess a few years ago, John Lubeck said he cut it by hand. The only way it can be done. You can't get any kind of vehicle. We need access to the entire easement. It really should be mowed a couple times a year. It's all coming up with weeds and brush. Because there's valves, there's pressure relief valves, vacuum release valves, and there's a bunch of isolated gate valves behind. So you can cut off a section if leaks. If the exercise, some of these balls need to be pumped out. We need access. We got every one except one last year. Right. You know, not only for access to these valves to keep them operating, functioning properly, but if there's over a leak, we're not going to fix the leak. So I took the initiative of finding this proposal here from landscaper. This guy, I've had him work on another project. He really works crazy. He's an animal. He's from Jefferson, young man. And, I think John said he's not doing the handwork. So we did talk to John today. Alan invited him up to Fairfield Road, and we walked down through these places, and clearly unpassable. Building's really deep. The sides to it are almost vertical. It looks to me like the power company last time they turned their easement, we're right along the power line. They let a whole bunch of trees fall down on our part of the easement, but they're in the way too. John Lubeck said he would come to mow a path where the power company has a lane or right away going down through. Your right away is on the power of the easement. Should you agree with someplace we can do that. So we get this guy to do this, and John to do the rest of it, so we get in there and do it and try and keep it that way. It's very difficult. It looks to me like we need to do some work on the right of way. Put in some culverts, You all know, it's really, really bad on that backside. And that's why I had moved twice a year. We put a few culverts in, put some gravel over. Tune it up a little so we can get in, do the mowing, get into the maintenance and get in and fix the leak better. Yeah, that. So I recommend you hire this guy to get this one section done. It's about 500-600 feet long. Pretty treacherous terrain. You've got a pretty wide corridor to put the water.
Oh, yeah.
And this is an area where both the water and sewer are there. I think you can take it out of the sewer fund.
I just, my question was, and we talked about this before, Henry, this is covered through the sewer O&M maintenance program. For sewer line maintenance, which means 90% of it is covered through the city or?
I'd have to look at your rate chart, but it's well over.
Okay, so basically, it's most of the funding in this comes from the city side.
And I think we need to approach them in the next budget year, so do some of this remedial work so we get better at it. I don't think they want a break to happen.
It's easier to keep it down. Once you get it down and clear, it'll be easier to keep it that way. I think that's a good change, so. Okay, anybody questions for Henry on this?
Now, the other thing I had to bring up was the Davis account.
Okay, the water bill, okay.
I'm gonna plan on putting in a new meter there either tomorrow or the next day. And, they've had some outrageous readings off of their current meter. And, we're gonna have to.
Basically, at this point,
Somehow.
I know you and I talked earlier, at this point, we're probably just better off to see how the meter works out and credit them to whatever other earliest means the words. We have a problem with that. You're all good with that? Yeah. Does that need to be a resolution right here?
Not until you get ready to stuff.
Yeah. and we do the adjustment. We'll see where the meter goes.
Okay, we'll see what the new meter does the next 3 weeks.
Yeah. adjustment. Okay. The only other thing on water and sewer is we did have a request from former Esker property, which Henry had just looked at today. To hook on, that's the property at Ferris Hill. They're not connected to the sewer or the water at this time, however, when the system was installed almost, 20 years ago, I guess, now, or more,
28 years ago
next year, okay.
Close.
As part of our right of way agreement with the people that went across that property, we gave them the right to hook up to the sewer and water. That. Lindsay, I think you're on here. You may want to have your opinion on this, but we have a situation where this particular property is not in either of in the sewer district, which means we would have to do, I believe, a separate contract. Is that the way we've done it before?
I've never had anything for a separate contract for sewer.
We did it for water, but not sewer.
Yeah, water.
So that's what I guess we need to figure out is how we would tie this into the sewer district. Being that it's actually not in the sewer, it's out of district, I guess is the best way to put it.
Right. The easiest thing to do would be by contract, similar to what you did with the water, rather than amending the entire district.
Yeah, because it's just one property. It's not.
Yeah.
Won't ever be anything different.
You're not adding a development or something like that. Yeah.
Okay. So if that's acceptable, I guess we'll see if you can put together some kind of a contract for us that will get to these people.
Okay, I'll put it on my list.
Anybody have any questions?
Yeah, I know we've done that tank. I don't know if we gotta do that.
Sounds good. It's gonna be on schedule for next year.
I just didn't say it's been 20 years or whatever, it's probably, that was done before, but
I think so.
I don't think we've done that like.
We're there.
Yeah, both the water tanks, Denver water.
Denver,
And
or Roxbury Reservoir was completed here.
Yeah, 3 minutes, but
Yes, now it's time to do the other two.
okay. Okay, anything else for Henry? There?
Let me know.
Thank you for coming down.
I'm
Henry.
proposing to do it as a subcontract to our operations down there. And then can get some further equipment to get it done and get out there. Hopefully John will show up Monday.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Okay, why don't we go with Kurtzside Park? Each you had a couple of changes we need to make the contracts. If you got that all worked out.
There, you should have gotten.
Yeah, the board, I believe, has got everything for all moving in that. So,
And the only other thing I wanted to mention, I put it on my report, but Sharon is doing a lot of work, on the stairs, right, open the field up to the railroad track, and this is Eagle Scout project. You should really look check it out, he's really great work. He's not done, so maybe he won't want to walk.
So, in this,
Yeah.
here.
I just mentioned an Eagle Scout project that someone worked on, they replaced some stairs that go from Kirkside Field up to the railroad track. And they've done a really great job, so.
Restoration of all the churches.
Oh,
That's owned by.
that's not owned by us, yeah.
But he's given permission for this project. So we thought it might be fun to get the alumni of Roxbury Central School that cleaned it up in 2002.
Oh, right.
To come back with their own kids now. To do a project there with the past. So I just want to let you know that's
Yeah.
an offer.
I could just ask that everybody speak up because I know a lot of people are having trouble hearing, so we can speak louder when we speak.
okay, it would help. Okay, Stephanie in here tonight, she had a phone sick today. Peg, why don't you go over what you've got?
I got a list.
He's got a list. They have a Bill Sherrick there too.
There's one. First of all, for anyone who's not aware, the town is in the process of updating the comprehensive plan for the town, and your participation is critical. So the comp plan committee has been meeting to set a timeline to get the word out. There'll be lots of opportunities to participate about what this is the roadmap that the town looks to move forward. It's also never been more important to utilize that plan for current funding applications, things like that. So now's the time to get your 25 cents in, never mind 2 cents, give it all, right? So we're gonna be coming up with the timeline. There'll be a launch event with some quick responses. We haven't set the date on that yet. The comprehensive plan consultant, Nan Stolzenberg, who did the 2014 update, is back on board. So she's familiar with the town. There's gonna be individual interviews being done, and then there'll be focus groups, business, recreation, Main Street revitalization, whatever, library, well, it's on Main Street. I want to talk to you about your library too. Delaware County has stepped on board to keep costs down. They're doing all the mapping. We have a subcommittee for communications and outreach, and then a graphic designer who's on the committee who's working with messaging and things like that for these public input sessions and things like that. So stay tuned. It will be on the town website. We'll be sending out postcards, things like that. There's no excuse not to participate, right? Right. Okay, good. So onward and upward. We submitted the community development block grant, was submitted 4 hours early from the deadline. For those of you who don't know, it's a community development block grant. It's for owner occupied home repair. Income eligibility is a requirement. So that's pending now on the state level. The Roxbury Main Street program is moving along. We have 8 participants, one of which is the library. We still have a couple of slots. We're doing the outreach to the other buildings, but you're gonna see some construction happening on Main Street. That was a funded project through New York State Homes and Community Renewal. And we submitted a letter of intent for this year's downtown revitalization initiative. Grand Gorge, we need you to help. We came so close last year. And this was for the downtown of Grand Gorge and the downtown of Roxbury combined. This building was one of the anchor projects, and it was revitalizing the building, redoing the ball fields, the playground, the whole 9 yards. There was some call for addressing some of the dilapidated buildings on Main Street. We need your help because public participation is one of the key linchpins to getting this funded. And we came so close last year that I can't tell you how important it is that we put our noses to the grindstone together as a whole community. We're making the argument, and it was rather effective last year, that we're joined by the Catskill Scenic Trail and the East Branch of the Delaware River. So what better way to interlock these 2 communities? You can email me, peg@morgproject.org. If you want more information, if you have questions, if you want to volunteer to help pull some data together, to help get some people out to hear what it's all about and what the projects are looking like, that's what we need you to participate in. That is due September 19th, 29th, 28th, sometime in September. I'll get it in 4 hours earlier.
So when are you looking for input? Like, are there?
We're gonna be putting the word out rather soon. There is a Grand Gorge Roxbury Downtown Revitalization Initiative website. There will also be a link to the town page, places where you can submit your thoughts. We'll have a Facebook page as well, which will send you to the comment section on the website. There's not going to be a lot of back and forth conversation on Facebook. We're in this together. Let's get it done. Any questions?
The next comprehensive meeting.
We're looking at next Wednesday. We're trying to get, we had one on Monday and we postponed it because I know you're not available. So Nan will get it tomorrow and I'll let you know. Yep.
What was that September 29th date?
That's the Downtown Revitalization Initiative application. Has to be in by then.
Is that the one we had a meeting here?
Yeah, yeah, and that's the one that we came so close. So a lot of the application will remain the same, but we need to refresh it, and then we have to refresh the presentation. I know that we didn't meet our budget cap last year. We may need a little to get Jess to do some new video. You guys okay with that? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, we didn't reach the cap that you allocated last year. So this is really the only update. David's working with me on the website and I can do most of the updates there. Really just the video for the presentation.
Hey, you said you wanted more participation, but is there gonna be a link on the town site?
Yep.
To get to your stuff? Okay.
Any day or two.
All right.
Any other questions?
Just to remind, and all comprehensive plan meetings are open to the public for anybody who would like to attend.
Yep, these are steering committee meetings. They're really just about getting organized, but of course anything's open.
Where are they held?
Usually on Zoom.
Oh, okay.
You know, the consultant, we tried to keep costs down. So rather than her traveling from Schoharie, we've been doing it via Zoom.
Your
So,
computer stuff.
the biggest thing is if it's a committee meeting and not a public input meeting, we ask that you just keep your comments to yourself and let the committee do its job. Otherwise we can get bogged down. There'll be opportunities in a public forum for you to comment or participate in that regard too.
And the date for those are on the website.
We're just getting a timeline together. That's why we're meeting next week.
Okay, anything else for Peg? On plan or other?
Well, I would like to remind you that I'm not the only one who doesn't know how to negotiate Facebook. Doesn't know how to do Zoom.
So,
I can write poetry.
oh, awesome.
So,
Okay, so you email me, there'll be a place on the website as well, where you can just sign up for automatic updates. So
Okay,
as soon as email me, so I have your email address, and I'll have my people call your people. I got markproject.org, all one word. Send me an email. Markproject.org.
Okay, anything else for Peg?
Come on, bring it on. Behave yourself. Thank you.
Okay. Meeting grounds, you did get the email from you, Mike, today about some problems with the graffiti here on the buildings.
Yeah, I don't know who's doing it, but it's the graffiti on the back of the gymnasium over there. It looks like the stuff you see on TV on the New York subway trains and stuff. Somebody's art really artistic, but we need to find out who they are, or stop them, or at least get it car washed off anyway.
When did that start?
It's been a few months. Well, it started a while back, but it,
we had Williamson out there looking at it.
yeah,
Oh, it's good. Early spring.
That's something local do it, I don't think.
No.
oh yeah, I was told that, I've probably heard the same thing, that the degree of artwork done is, and it sounds bad, they said, well, it's not something that local people would do, so I don't know what that means. We're just not artistic enough or something.
Camera out there or something.
Put a trail cam out there, yeah.
The other thing, Ed, I know we talked about a little bit, is windows here in this building, and I think we probably should try to get some quotes for some of them companies, or the architect involved, or at least get. I don't know where we're gonna be standing as far as grant money or anything like this. Put money left in.
You want to do this before winter?
Well, we need to do something about that, because it's getting pretty rough. I don't know if there's anything we can do before winter, but we would likely have to go out to bid anyway, so. But I can check with an engineer too, and see what else we can come up with, but
Our company going out. There's a couple of them, all that.
Right.
Right.
yes,
Specs for these windows are in the drawings that come on.
they are.
Yeah.
Probably gonna need to get, so maybe talk with the months if they've done a bunch of drawings, of course, maybe we can get something together as far as what we need for a bid spec.
Yeah, you should have them, the drawings about filing or something, but they're all the specs are here for that, this whole building.
I think actually, by changing the windows, will almost pay for itself.
Oh, I think so. And there's, well, a couple of these are broke, I take them.
Yeah, we got them all taped together now, and stuff. But even if you can't do them all,
I know
maybe
it's
sections, you know, or something.
And out in the judge's office there,
Yep.
a lot of that's feeling now.
Yeah.
There's the same way out there.
And we also gotta remember that with roofs.
And the roofs, yeah.
I mean, have that company come back, clean those drains, so we don't have problems here.
I think we told them to put it on their schedule.
Yeah,
I have
I
heard
looked
from
at
them,
that, that guy that came to Toy there, he's good. He seems to find the problem in a quick hurry.
but check with them again and see if we can get them down here before it's over.
And not just this roof, but the gymnasium roof too. There.
Right.
Planning board, I don't think we had.
Oh, we got tires out there too.
Oh, yeah.
Did you put that in there?
Yeah, I could get rid of them. Unless somebody wants some 17. Get rid of the season, I'm really.
Okay, moving on, planning board, anything there? I don't think. Yeah, building inspector, you all received a report from Tom, he's back in action, and going strong. Going stronger, moving better. Had several discussions recently about changing the building permit fees. And upgrading our penalties. Did talk with Lindsay today. This also involves the fire inspections for commercial buildings. It looks like if we wanted to add a penalty, which we talked about, we would need to amend our local law for building inspection, which was done in 2007. The fees we can do by resolution, but if we're going to amend the law at all, that penalty is fine, we would have to upgrade. Or we would have to change and have to leave the law. The other thing that we've talked about in the past, and I've had some discussions with concerning that, is including in the commercial buildings inspections that have been doing in the past to other buildings to all of the commercial properties, is look at the possibility of including short-term rentals into that inspection process. We do not need to develop a total short-term rental law. We can just those properties in as additional inspections. That would have inspection. That's not to be determined tonight. I just wanted to. Lindsay, you did say that would require a revision of the law as well if we want to include short-term rental as a class, correct?
So you would need to pass a local law if you wanted short-term rentals to have annual fire and building inspections. Otherwise, with the law as written, they fall into the catch-all category, which only requires inspections be done every 3 years.
So if we kept it at having them inspected every 3 years, we would not need to change the local law.
Correct.
All right. Do you have any other thoughts on that?
Would we go by the county list of SDRs then?
More than likely, yeah. We would go by the ones that are currently listed on the county's tax list, which we actually just received the other day. There's quite an extensive amount of it. I think some of them were inactive, but there's more than you think. So I have also had some conversations with somebody to consider for a fire inspector. Tom has decided that he doesn't want to take on that at this point, his current health concerns. So we are going to have to look for somebody else to do fire inspections. I did approach somebody locally. I'm waiting to hear back from them, so that remains to be seen. So.
It's like a fire chief or
Yeah, so it's
somebody like.
I won't mention the name,
No,
but
no, I
there is-
just was wondering.
Yeah, he's experienced.
Qualified.
Yeah.
To be,
He's experienced arson investigator. That's the qualification. So there is a state requirement you have to get certified with the state, but it's not mine course. It's not that complicated like this. So maybe that was a possibility. As far as the cell tower lease we've been talking about at the Roxbury run water tank, nothing new on that. We have some discussions today with Lindsay about the contract, but we're back and forth working on that. So that's moving forward. We have anything new on this low income household water assistance program.
Check that we got.
Oh, yeah. Lindsay, you were looking into that low income housing thing. Forgot about that.
Is that
Lindsay,
Sorry, I'm having a hard time hearing. Which
Oh,
lo-
okay. I'm trying to speak up, the mic's over in the middle of the room, but, the check that we got for one customer was the low income household water assistance program with the state. And we were looking into what the qualifications or what the requirements for the town were gonna be to participate in that program.
Oh, right, yes, I'm sorry, I'm still working on that.
Okay. And the CDBG audit recommendations. Diana, what was
That's
it?
been for when we had the meeting with, Nina. She recommended some changes for a procurement policy in that. I gave you guys that list probably back in April,
Okay,
the May meeting.
do we need to just do a resolution to accept those changes, or does that not require a resolution?
Procurement policy in that was part of it.
Okay, so we don't make a change to the current policy for this.
There was a list of things. There
Yeah, I
were
remember.
different sections.
Fair
of all
housing,
they wanted in
Fair
there.
housing, procurement.
Along with fair housing, we do need to appoint a fair housing officer and update our policy, I guess.
Yeah, you made a resolution back in May prior to, after the audit. A resolution supporting fair housing activity in the town.
But then we need to do it, we have to appoint an officer for that.
Appoint a fair housing officer, that should be a position, not a name. Like somebody.
Right.
Yeah. And
not me.
and we will,
And not me.
we will help develop a fair housing brochure. With the language necessary that can be handed out. We have the fair housing poster up in the town hall, but just a little bit more proactive approach
Let's take that offline and I'll discuss it with you.
for the warning.
Yeah, we do have to do a short executive session to discuss highway contract matters that are ongoing. They'll try right like that. We can do this. But I got like 3 minutes. That's about all we need.
I make a motion to go.
Yeah, you have.
Yeah.
Okay, we should go back up. So,
Well, up here, right? I've been waiting for you. I know you are.
You came late.
I know that.
Okay, folks, we're all back. Let's get through this. We can get going. We're back in session. All right. The result of the executive session were no decisions made with the personnel issue. Okay, moving on. We have had many letters, well, several letters, not many, but several letters, both for and against this ATV law. The Board has looked into it and read some of the comments. We read all the comments last month. At this point, and I think I'm speaking for the rest of the board, if anybody doesn't agree with what I've got to say, please come forward and say it. We have looked into this. We've talked with our local attorney about this, our town attorney. At this point, the law that was presented is not something that we can vote on. We are going to table this at this time until such a time as we can research it further and decide if we want to do something else or not. We're not denying, we're not canceling it, but we are also not approving it tonight. We are going to table it and hold it open and until we such a time as either we get more information from the state as to what their proposals are going forward, or we get more information on where we're going, but at this point, we are not gonna act on the law.
You have an approximate timeline of how long that would be?
Not at this point. I apologize. I know everybody got some misinformation that this was a secret meeting. We were gonna vote this thing in and nobody was gonna have any comments, but that's absolutely not true. Our meeting at the Grand Gorge Civic Center has been happening for about 35 years, every August and every April. So this is not a secret meeting. It certainly is not a special meeting. It's a meeting we do every year. So for the record, that's where we're at.
In the meantime, are you still taking letters? Are you still accepting comments?
Certainly, we'll take comments and letters. I just
And where's
send it to the town clerk or myself as a town hall.
I can just hand it to Diane.
Yeah. That works. I understand both sides of it. I have my own opinions on where it should go, but as I said, I think at this point, we've looked at it. I think there's certainly some liability concerns that we've also been apprised of by our own attorneys. I know other towns have adopted it, and so far not having any issues, but again, I have an ATV myself and I drive it a lot. Totally understand where we're all going in this thing, so, but I think we all are in the same mind that we don't feel that it's quite the right time to adopt this law at this point. As written, and we may make some changes to it, come back at a future date, but at this point, not right now.
An opportunity to put some people around the table to identify trails to,
Possibly.
it seems like that's a really proactive approach.
I think we have enough committees going right now that I'm not so sure.
Come on, let's have
do that
another.
right away.
Throw it in the committee, double punch.
So that's up to the board. We'll make a decision we want to move forward with that, but for now, we're gonna table it and to see where things go. So. Okay. So I had some other questions for the board. Concerning first off, the use of alcohol at town public meetings and events. It's all thing about. Discussion on that at this point.
Joyce is here.
That,
Joyce is here.
Absolutely.
okay.
Okay, Joyce DeVivo, Grand Gorge. My first question was about what happened with the comprehensive plan application, and that's been answered, so that's still an ongoing issue. I'd like to speak about the conditions in Grand Gorge. Aside from the buildings, the sidewalks, the parking lots, the miserable walking conditions. There are weeds and bushes. And a strange thing happened this week. I think it was last Wednesday. I saw a man and a woman cutting the ash sprouts that grow every year by the bridge. Now, I think that would be something the state would take care of. But it doesn't, and they keep going back and they're leaning over as people are trying to walk by. I don't know who those people were. Then later in the week, what was it? I think it was Sunday. I was here and I realized weed whacking had been done. Weed whacking that should have been done a month ago and repeatedly through the summer, or somehow not allow Queen Anne's lace to grow this high in front of. For 2 years, we try to make the place look beautiful, and I love my wildflowers, but they don't belong all along the sidewalks in Grand Gorge in the Hamlet Center, also on the corner by the Windstar building. The two parking lots that I guess are private property, possibly by absentee landlords. People drive out of them over the sidewalks, which are proper sidewalks in a few places in town, and the gravel comes out and the stones. We have a lot of elderly people. I won't count myself among them because I don't live here in town, but I do go to the post office. I'm not saying hello, I know.
I walk out of there every day.
Okay.
I walk down
she
every
walks
day, and I'll
day.
tell you what, there is mud all over them. I've almost slipped and fell on the mud.
Right.
None of the sidewalks are taken care of, none of them.
And this parking lot hasn't had the gravel picked up for years. Never mind the weeds, the grapevines. Oh, whoever did the weed whacking, just with the grapevines, that's great, but it needs more than that. So in the future plans, we need to provide something for that area on that side of the building for that vegetation to be brought under control. But why isn't there regular maintenance of this property all parts of the year? Broken blacktop lying around, okay, that's enough on that. On the corner near the Windstar building, a new utility pole was put in when? A year, 2, 3 years, I don't know. But they left a pile about this high of sand, of dirt and rocks around the utility pole on the sidewalk. There's a big rock there, and this is how much sidewalk space you have.
That's
Who owns, who's responsible? The
The
utility.
property owner, I guess, or the utility company to put the pole in.
I would think, but how do I or any other individual resident complain? Who do we go to? Can you help us with that?
Possibly reach out to NICEAG if it's a NICEAG pole that they put in.
I think Steven says he's.
It's also-
nice.
He has
It's
talked to
also,
them.
it's also a state regular.
You can talk to them and ask them.
I mean, it's disgraceful that they didn't just do it automatically as part of the job.
One year, the state came through and cleaned all of the sidewalks in Greenbridge on the main road, on Main Street, and they cleaned them really well. And then, that was a long time ago, that I saw them do that, and they've never done it since.
And it is all state right away, so it's
Yeah.
really not something even our highway can do. They're not
But
responsible.
how can
Um,
we, as a community, make the state pay attention and do their job and pay the taxes? And then I found out recently that on Route 30, where the Gebhardts live, that there is actually concrete sidewalks that used to be there, that are still there, buried under the blacktop. When they did the highway, it rose up. That happens to every property. Your property is lower than the highway, there's flooding issues, water drainage. And then, do I understand right? They swapped some blacktop on top of the concrete. That's breaking up, the lawns grow into them, the weeds grow in the middle, and underneath is a real sidewalk.
We used to have a sidewalk that did the whole, all the way down to town.
There's
And
further-
then they put the new sewer system in, and then when they put the new sewer system in, they took out all the sidewalk and they put down blacktop. That's what happened.
Raising the road. It started at the Catholic Church and went down to MBT, the sidewalk.
Yes.
They raised the road and never. They all done sprayed the hazard, and you got a hole right by my driveway, it's probably at least a foot deep. I don't know who's taking responsibility, but I'm not.
Well, it's actually, as I said, all of those issues collectively are all the state of New York. It's
So
their
we've
right away.
called them.
Yeah, and I've talked to them about it myself before, but I will follow some of my connections and see if I can find somebody that will listen to us. I know
Did we contact Mr. Tag?
that would be a start, certainly. This is a good choice. I can reach out to him as well. Talk to him and see what they say, because it is unfortunately a state issue. I know when they've had problems with flooding from the side driveways coming down onto the road. So that's correct.
Yeah, the engineers have been there, they discussed it.
Yeah, they.
It was a 5-year plan.
Yeah.
I've been there since '77. I don't know if I lived long enough to see that 5 years take effect or what, you know?
I feel your pain, I understand that. As I said, unfortunately, we're a little tied as a town, because we don't really have, we're not an an incorporated village, either here or Roxbury.
I get a flood of letters to Chris. We got.
Yeah, I mean, some letters in residents will certainly help, and we'll certainly write one, but. You talk about it, they do pay attention to that, especially when you get a assemblyman or senator involved, they definitely pay attention.
Well, if you write a letter and put it on the website, then everybody can copy it. It's easy.
I think the state has right away, but a lot of it is personal property, not maintained.
Well, I was about to say, yeah,
Parking lots,
right,
is absolutely right about the parking lot. That pole is a joke. It's ridiculous. So I don't understand why you can't maybe send a letter to a business and say, your parking lot is causing a problem with our walkway. Or why can't the town send a letter to the state and make a formal complaint? Because if you just talk to somebody else, nothing's ever gonna happen. So I mean, I try to walk every night, it is despicable, the way.
And again,
the sidewalks are.
as in the Hamlet of Roxbury. All the property owners own their own sidewalks, and that's why they have to maintain them by plowing and shoveling, so really. Technically, it's a responsibility of the homeowner and the property owner, if their property does go. To the center of the road and in there.
And the poles, especially all around the poles, if they mow their lawn, they don't clean around the pole.
And that is a.
Sometimes the hydrant is there, and there's 4 feet of grass to the hydrant.
And I just spoke earlier this evening to one of the residents here, and she said she sweeps around this building so they can walk safely around the building, but she would try to do the whole parking lot. Well, so.
This building and the parking lot are different, that's a municipal, that's ours, that is the town, and that's something.
The whole parking lot,
I mean, we talked to Bill about doing. We did, and I thought they were.
Doing the ditch.
I thought they were gonna sweep up here, I thought they had.
that's what I thought, but no.
Well, I will check.
They were gonna do that, and they were gonna.
And there's a whole bunch of broken up blacktop up close to the building.
Yeah, right in front of the town court.
You're right, that's a.
And they were gonna straighten up the area by the road.
Yeah, we talked about that.
Yeah, 'cause they're where they got.
And maybe our planters shouldn't be just where they are, so we can think about I'm talking about the community action group. Parts that too, so maybe they need to be moved too.
They've been complaining about the bridge and the rocks on the bridge from the seniors for 10, 15 years. And that again is coming from the parking lot by Windstar. Those 2 parking lots just make the dirt fly right straight through town.
Did anybody talk to the landowner of the parking lot?
Well, the one parking lot's for
Yeah.
sale, the other one's Windstar, which they
Oh,
think the
yeah.
building. and then-
If it's for sale, somebody has to own it, it has to be somebody's property, they should be responsible for it first.
Maybe you're not supposed to park on private
And then go
property.
from there.
In the past, I have spoken
Oh,
to
we use it as
Miller's.
public parking,
We ought
we ought to buy it.
We
and
ought to
have
buy
be
it, clean
public
it, pave
parking.
it, stop the dirt. At least the small, because there's no parking for
So
the
that
post
could
office
go-
anyway.
That could go in the long-term plan, but I'm hoping that we can get the utility pole pile cleaned up. And that the board will take better responsibility for getting this parking lot cleaned up.
I'll look into this.
And ongoing maintenance.
We talked to him about it, I thought he was gonna do that, because they were supposed to come up and sweep it.
Okay,
Fix it,
so
that's what
no,
whole
they
batch.
did the patching, but I think that's all.
That old garage behind the parking lot next to the post office is for sale. There's a realtor sign there. God knows what they want for it.
That's the whole parking lot, that whole.
Yeah, yeah.
It's all partial.
So maybe the town would want to buy it.
Why couldn't we buy it?
Why not?
Why couldn't we move the school down from Johnson Hollow and have it be a historic site?
Okay,
We're all about the historic, right?
Yeah.
do we have any other discussions from anybody before we get into resolutions? Frank, go ahead.
Talking about liability, etc. Right down out of the building here, near the men's room.
the concrete goes out for a ways. And then where there's a little, what I'll call a ramp going down. There's an area that's elevated there. When you go out, you'll see it. And I think that should be fixed. That's bad for more than 10 years that I know.
Talking about it, no,
Yeah.
it's on the side.
Yeah.
Did you put the map?
No.
Yeah, we'll get Billy involved. You know, we discussed this last month.
I see it. Yes, I see you every morning.
Judith, I talk to you every month.
You have nothing to say.
You're being patient.
So, one thing I wanted to say, I know that, we received some letters about the moratorium request, about any kind of new development or any kind of major decisions that could be based on, just to slow things down until the comprehensive plan is well along in its process, when we've heard from all the residents. Because, really what it is the roadmap, and instead of like, oh, let's go here, let's go there, let's go here, it's like, everybody comes together and you come up with a plan of how you want the town to develop moving forward. So I hope you will continue to consider that as you get various proposals, in probably 6 or 8 months, we'll be far enough along in the process that, you can see, is this aligned with what the community and the residents want? So I'm saying that, and then I also want to say that we're having the potluck, the community potluck on Labor Day again, with the fireworks that you guys put on, and at Kirkside Park, there will be music. The band is we still, so just today. And so we hope everyone will come. I know some came last year, and it was a really boring good time, I think. Right? You didn't come?
I didn't like,
What?
we didn't like.
Oh, sorry. You didn't wait? So I hope everyone will attend, bring a dish to share, and there will be more, there'll be flyers, we put them up in Grand Gorge too, at the post office, the bank, at the country store here, so, if you're not on social media, you can, look for it around. And it's Sunday the 3rd. It starts at 6.
Okay, anybody else have any comments before we move in?
About the letter about the motos
Go.
for months, we're just going to that.
We can talk about it. We did receive a letter concerning a potential motocross race that they're gonna do in September on a property in Roxbury. It's a private property. We actually have no jurisdiction over what gets done on private property. If it's a mass gathering, it's gotta be bigger than, I think, what is it, 1,000 people. By the law that we have in place, there is nothing really that, as a town, we have no control over what people do on their own properties.
What is the date?
It's in September, I think. It's doing a benefit. Maybe it's 8th and 9th of September. It's gonna be a benefit motocross event. There's gonna be, I guess, jumping in a few different things, but it's all on a private parcel. And it's a very small scale. And it's a very small scale. I really don't think it's gonna be as huge as I think it's gonna be. Now, we have a law in place to control that. More than 1,000 people, we can do something.
Wow.
So at the point, as I say, there's really. It's in Roxbury on County 41, in the back road going out Roxbury. It's about a mile and a half. Mile. Yeah, it's going like. But that's the only details I have from it. I've not seen or heard anything more. Brad?
Point of order,
Sure.
the young lady had a complaint about conditions that have existed for apparently years. Now, you're saying it's a state problem, state's gonna say it's a county problem. County's gonna say it's your problem, you're the town government. You are Roxbury town government. You have a highway department in Roxbury, correct?
Yeah, but this particular issue is on the state right away, which means it's the state of New York.
But I'm sure there's areas that are adjacent to it that
That's
could be
different.
handled by the town of Roxbury.
If it's, unless it's private property.
Laborers probably have a couple of guys that have grabbed a shovel and a broom.
Sure.
Let's get them busy.
Yes.
Come on, man. You know, the end result. We come here, we listen to you, like you put your time and your effort into it. I know it's a thankless position, sure. But please, try to help us.
We'll do what we can.
Can I have your name for the minute?
My name is Paul Russell, Living Grand Gorge.
Yeah, Judy, you have something else here?
Well, I mean, but maybe there can be, I mean, we have similar problems in Roxbury,
Yes, we do.
so maybe there's a way to figure out something a little outside of what normally has been done, whether it's in making the property owners really, enforcing the fact that they're supposed to do, whether it's fines or you get the high school students to get community service credits to do some, I mean, just like think of different things about like shoveling or maybe this sweeping. It's like, because it's been a problem that somebody's gonna get hurt.
Well, there's no question our sidewalks needs a lot of work. In fact, you and I have had this conversation for many years about how to fund new sidewalks and repairs. It's not an easy process. Well, that's different.
And if someone's a whole different thing.
Right, but.
Repairing sidewalk stones and repairing sidewalks. is basically-
Sidewalk is buried for 30 years.
Right, but it's talking about someone hard, someone.
If they're responsible.
Then the homeowner is really responsible, somebody falls.
Exactly, so,
With snow.
but there needs, well, but not with the gravel, it's what needs with the.
Well, gravel's different, because you could sweep the sidewalk every day in front of the parking lot, and it's gonna be gravel every day. And some things, I don't think you're gonna always say, you gotta get a long-term plan, you gotta be comprehensive. But some things are emergent, some things are 15 years coming and we'll forward to the problem, they'll get finished now. Just people have to have the budget to go along.
Okay, folks, we need to move on and get done with this tonight. We're already at an hour and a half. 2 hours here. We've got a long ways to go.
I've heard it forever.
I do have one announcement that we are proposing a dedication to our new town hall.
Really?
Folks, please. It's hard enough to hear it here anyway. I'm sorry about this. We are proposing to do a dedication for our new town hall in Roxbury at, on the 20th. It's scheduled right now for the 22nd, but you said you think we're gonna have to move it to a different date. You want to explain what's going on or why? We kind of had it all set with the county and everything else.
Yeah, I already sent to the county the funds for.
Is there a reason we can't do it on the 22nd?
I won't be able to,
You won't do that?
no, I won't be able to do everything.
I have no problem with the other date either, if it's not anybody else is okay with it.
So August,
September.
September.
28th is Thursday.
Thursday.
That's a Thursday. You guys okay with that, Nate? You want to do it? I'm sure it's not a problem to change it.
What time you got?
We're gonna do it at around 4:30, dedication at 5. We're gonna have asked and anybody that wants to make a light snack, we're gonna ask the restaurants in town to donate something. What we have in the dedication.
What time of day will it be?
It'll start around 4:30, but we'll have the dedication at 5. At the town hall.
You picked a date?
September 28th. Okay. We're gonna move on to resolutions. Done with this. All right, we have a resolution for department reports, town clerk, supervisors report, assessors report, water, no assessors report received, water district, justice court, parks department, building inspectors monthly report, and dog control no report received. Have a resolution? I'll make that motion. Second? Second. All in favor? Aye. Discussed earlier, we are tabling the EROP and have a resolution from someone stating that they're tabling this. Take that notice. Second. All in favor? Aye. And we have the agreement with county for snow and ice control that we discussed earlier. Resolution. Second. Second. All in favor? Aye. And the same thing for Van Aken Road, which is a city road. Snow and ice control. I'll make that. We've done in the past. I'll make that. A second. All in favor? Fair housing officer, we are going to work on appointing somebody and Peg's the work we need to come up with a requirements to look out what we do with the table with this. You need to hire a new cleaning person for our civic center. If anybody has any idea, I would like it out of it. Anybody here in Grand Gorge knows of somebody that would be interested in doing cleaning here in the civic center?
How many hours a month can the pay rate?
Anyone can tell you that. What was the pay rate for it?
14.20, or yeah, 14.20 an hour.
14.20 an hour,
Carol did it 2 hours.
2 hours a day,
For 5 days.
yeah, 5 days.
5 days a month.
Yeah, and that's this room and the hallways, basically in the bathroom, right?
Weekdays, 5 days.
A month, a week, or a week, a week. 2 hours every day, 5 days.
So if anybody knows of anybody that's interested, have them see Diane. We have an open vacancy in the highway department we're working on. Right now, no candidates. Will be tabled. Retirement resolution for time for appointed position. Do you have people collecting time now?
What we have to do when you appoint someone every year.
So do we have those? We do have. Okay. Do we need to run
All in the packet.
a resolution to accept them?
Okay.
Second? Second. All in favor? Aye. I guess we'll need a resolution to allow Hookwitz to hook up with the Grand Gorge water and the Roxbury sewer connection. The connections actually are already in place. They'll hook up from the pump and from the water thing will be his responsibility. We do need to develop a contract if we're working with Lindsay on. For that, we need a resolution to allow him to do that. Second. Second. All in favor? Aye. And we had a meeting last week with our health insurance renewal for Blue Cross Blue Shield and lifetime benefit. You guys all received that in your package. The only other thing we discussed with him, which will be pending meeting with the employees to see if they want to go with it, is there was a vision plan that Excellus carries that was different, we've never had vision before.
No, vision was part, it's part of the
Part-
current plan, but they would only pay $60. This is a better vision.
Better one, it's a better one, okay. And the same thing with the dental, right? We had a better plan than them.
We had dental with them, we have them for dental with MVP.
We were looking at switching it to Excellus.
Paid by the town or by the individual?
Depends on how long they've been with the town.
So if you guys are okay with the proposal we put in, send to you, we'll make a resolution on that.
You can.
I'll make that one.
Was that a dog?
All in favor?
Uh,
God like it. Yell back. Okay, we discussed with Henry earlier, the proposal about the accurate touch landscaping to do the hand clearing, the filling for the sewer right away. This again to be, I believe it's 90 or 95% covered under the O&M agreements with the city. So it's mostly their cost. Resolution for that. I'll second. All in favor? Aye. And we need a resolution for a change order with Hubble number 4 on the Denver Water Project. It's decrease of 6,900 to close out the project. We hear that very often. in church meetings. It's a pretty rare statement. Change order.
I'll make that motion.
Second. All in favor? We discussed earlier, we had a request for 2 refunds for extraneous circumstances for rentals in the park. It was about $450. Resolution to approve that. All in favor? Aye. And the resolution to use ARPA funds for additional materials needed to install our electronic speed signs. Cost is an additional $317.15. Need a resolution for that. Make that motion. Second. All in favor?
You don't have a timeline on that last very work song yet, do we?
They're working on it. They just did the one in Roxbury, that the other 2 they're gonna get in the next couple of weeks. So we're, I don't know, probably the next 2 weeks. We have it tomorrow.
Right.
Kind of got to put on hold while they were doing stone and oil on roads, and they kind of got that caught up for the year now, so. Have a pre-approval list of invoices for water projects. Got a package, I missed that in the package.
I'll make that.
Second. All in favor? Aye. And we need approval to adjust the bill for.
No, you already discussed that, you're gonna wait.
We're gonna table it, that's right. Okay, yeah, and we'll do it next week, okay. All right. That's another discussion and stuff. This issue with the billing software, Diane, you work on that at all? I know we talked about it.
No, I had a complaint because the bills are hard to read, even with the customer detail page on how the balance was arrived at. Basically, from the beginning, which we've always told people was that because we're taking monthly reads, but only billing quarterly, we're confusing the water billing system. So that's why we sent out the 2 pages, the blue bill page and the detail page. Normally, those figures add up, if they've had an adjustment or something. Or if there's been a late fee put on, it's not adding up correctly, so they can see exactly how the bill was figured. So the question was, do you want to go with a different software company for the billing?
How many have you, a lot of complaints for?
Well, this one was probably about 3 weeks, so right after that. No, I haven't had a lot of plans, but
It's all set up. Software company, but they're getting.
well, it's an RVS billing system, but then it's Mueller system for the actual meter read. And then they're synced together.
Right. Yes, a lot of things where you can see justice and how the. Announcement that the Delaware County Clean Sweep Program will be coming up again on. Yes, businesses on the 9/22, which is September 22nd, and households on September 23rd. You must register with Clean Sweep and you have to take everything to the transfer station involved. But you do have to pre-register if you want to bring things over there like paints, liquids, any kind. We've all received project cost updates to the water project. Well, we're not done yet. We're near the end, I think. We've got a few other projects. Then the water, the mountain water main will change, but most of them to the end of it. Still have a lot of people that have not done their annual training, harassment, discrimination, and violence prevention. Fair to say a few of them in this room have that problem. And I did discuss the AED compliance thing with Bill. He's taking care of that. We'll probably have to coordinate it with the fire department. Both area, because I was saying, the fire, the state requires a medical director, which medical director. That being said, pretty well set. Couple reminders, we already talked about the open house. October meeting will be October 10th, Tuesday, due to the Columbus Day holiday on Monday. And the November meeting will be held November 9th after after the regular election. The resolution to pay the bill, we've all reviewed. Not quite deep. Problem changes? No. Let's see. Okay. No resolution. I'll make the motion. I'll second. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? We're all good. Thank you, everyone. We have our. I'll make it. I'll second.
not part of it.